there's a fear among Democrats to go after Trump. That's misplaced. He's everything our founders feared. And if the Democratic Party no longer has the stomach to call him out for what he is, then the Democratic Party ought to just quit.
I'm joined now by Joe Walsh, who's a former Republican Party presidential candidate back in 2020 and a former Illinois congressman who voted for Donald Trump in 2016. But, Joe Walsh, welcome. That has now all changed.
What a story, John. Good to be with you. Yes, from the Tea Party to the Democratic Party in about 12 years. It goes to show crazy journey, and it goes to show how we live in unprecedented times politically in America right now.
I mean, we clearly do live in unprecedented times. But your journey, Joe, from with the Tea Party, so the more conservative end, as was anyway, in the Republican Party, to becoming a Democrat, just tell us what propelled you along that route. You know, we've got a very good idea of what we're talking about here, but just express it in your own way.
So I was Tea Party at the beginning. Tea Party led to Trump. It led to what we now call MAGA. And Tea Party was all about freedom and democracy, the rule of law, and balanced budgets. Once the Tea Party became Trump and MAGA, it abandoned all of those principles. So my former party now, the Republican Party, is a party that is anti-democracy, anti the rule of law, and increasingly anti-freedom. I mean, revoking student visas because of op-eds people write. So my former party abandoned these principles. Those principles are what always carried me. The Democratic Party, my new party, has some problems, but they still embrace democracy and the rule of law.
Yes. I mean, look, you have been a conservative, and now you are a part of the Democratic Party. Are you still a conservative, though, Joe? In which case, do you consider that your new party, the Democrats, need to get less liberal?
Spot on. So a week ago, I was a conservative independent. 5 years ago, I was a conservative Republican. Today, I'm a conservative Democrat. And it's my hope that me and maybe others like me can help create a big tent and help move the Democratic Party to the middle. Not right, keeping its progressives base as well. But look, Trump and the Republican Party, it's a bigger coalition than people think. And the Democratic Party, to win, man, they got to put together a big coalition. Conservatives like me and progressives like AOC.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I just wonder what moving to the centre, Joe, means for you. Just illustrate that for me, if you can, with a couple of policies in particular or positions.
Two issues. The biggest is the issue that got Trump elected, immigration. I'm a border hawk. Defend the borders. I've always been that way. And even though Trump and Republicans demagogue that issue, Democrats have ignored that issue. Democrats have ignored the border. They've ignored the issue of immigration. I intend to, along with others, help Democrats focus on, you got to keep a strong border. You got to defend your border. Our immigration system is a mess in this country. Democrats can no longer ignore that issue. The other issue is crime, just basic street crime. Generally in this country, Democrats have been softer on street crime. And yeah, Trump demagogues the issue and tries to scare people. But Democrats need to connect with regular folk again, because these two issues of immigration and crime, regular people care about.
Yeah, I mean, I see from opinion polls that most Americans support a tough line on immigration. Most Americans do not support the way the Trump administration is going about it. They think some of that is too harsh. The treatment of courts and individuals and so on. You think it's going to be possible, would be possible, to plot a line that people would line up behind?
John, that's a great point. The beauty of Trump is that he and the Republican Party have moved so far and so fast into an extreme dark place on a bunch of issues, but immigration. So most Americans want to secure the border. Most Americans think if you're in this country illegally and you're a violent criminal, get the hell out. But look what Trump is doing. He's disappearing people off of our streets without any due process. We're deporting moms. We're deporting teenagers, people who are not violent criminals. So there's an opening there for the Democratic Party to present a tough but common sense position.
But I wonder if the Democrats will settle on such a position. I note that immigration is cited as a big reason to vote Republican and vote Donald Trump in the last general election by, well, among others, a large number of African American voters who were previously Democrat supporters. Same goes for Latinos. And it did seem that the Democrat Party just seemed to miss that.
So that's the $1 million question. I mean, look, I follow my head and I follow my heart. I want to defend democracy and the rule of law more than anything. I believe the Republican Party is a threat to it. But now I'm a Democrat. And really what I'm doing is it's an experiment. Can the Democratic Party be a big enough tent for me and progressives like AOC? A lot of it has to do with messaging. A lot of it has to do with Democrats have become too elitist and out of touch. But you're right. A lot of it has to do with where they are on basic bread and butter and safety issues. And my hope is we can help move them to common sense positions.
Okay. Now, I wonder if you can just help us here, I mean, our British audience, in understanding something about America, American voters, and American politics. Now, I followed American politics for a good long while. I've been intimately concerned with covering and discussing British politics for many, many years. And I look at what's happening in Washington now, and I see the president, well, dealing in cryptocurrency, taking a Boeing 747 from Qatar as a gift, making hundreds of millions on the back of his presidency. And I heard that described by Erwin Stelter the other day, who was a conservative commentator and economist. He called it unspeakable. And he wanted to see the president impeached if the Democrats get back control of the House. Now, I'm not at all sure that kind of feeling is very widely reflected among Americans, Joe. Is that fair? Is that accurate? And if that's the case, why not?
Such a good question. It should be open corruption, openly corrupt. Donald Trump believes he's untouchable. He believes he's a tyrant, no kings. He believes he's a king. He can do anything. His own party lets him do anything. Democrats have been cowed into thinking, oh, we need to focus on other things besides Trump. Bull crap. You can focus on the price of eggs and focus on how openly corrupt he is. Don't become obsessed with one or the other. But there's a fear among Democrats to go after Trump. That's misplaced. He's everything our founders feared. And if the Democratic Party no longer has the stomach to call him out for what he is, then the Democratic Party ought to just quit. So we need to keep hammering him because every day there's more and more. The problem is we've normalized Trump in this country. I mean, think about this. Every time Trump opens his mouth, he tells a lie. He's done that for years. So now when Trump lies, it's no longer news. We've normalized his lying. We've done that with every aspect about Trump. Shame on us.
Really fascinated to get your views, Joe. Thanks for joining us today for your thoughts. That's Joe Walsh, who is now a Democrat in the USA.